feel like you rank amongst the rest of the prep schools on the West Coast?
You know, we actually, our program's grown pretty fast, considering this was just year 2. Year 1 was actually during the COVID year. But that's an interesting question. Where do I feel like we fit in with the rest of the pack of prep schools? I think we're one of the top schools in the country. I mean, we had, let's say, about 15 guys go Division I this past year. So even though we're fairly new, we feel like we stack up pretty high versus the rest of the country when it comes to prep schools. Obviously, there's other schools that do great jobs, but we feel like we're one of those schools.
Okay, so in just 2 years, you had multiple All-Americans, like multiple ranked players. How are you going to go about replacing them and continuing the high level of players?
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. As far as like trying to replace the guys we had, it's gonna be extremely hard. But it was hard getting those guys last year, right? But at the end of the day, you're gonna get the right guys. We want to try to get the guys that are bought into, you know, our development, that are bought into our culture, you know. So some of those guys may not come in to start the year as top 50 guys, top 100 guys. They may grind their way to getting to that. They may never get the actual stars next to their name, but their production may be just as good, you know? So it's gonna be hard to replace those guys, but I think with our staff and us recruiting all over, not just the country, but the world, I think we'll be able to do it. We actually have some high-level guys that are committed to us now that we haven't announced yet, that we feel really good about and confident about.
Talk to us a little bit about the big man, Jaxon, Michigan State.
So back to the question about finding guys that can replace the guys we had this year. Jaxon Kohler is going to be, I mean, close to irreplaceable. Obviously, Jaxon was one of the best bigs in the country, right? But what people don't see is he's one of the hardest workers in the country. You know what I'm saying? So when one of your best guys are bought into your culture and grind as hard as anybody, that really just sets the tone and gets other guys to fall in line and buy in. So I think, you know, he's going to have a big time a year in college. Obviously, he's playing for a great coach with Tom Izzo. He's been fortunate enough during this offseason to work with our staff and Zach Randolph, who Zebo played for Izzo. So a lot of guys compare them as far as like their toughness, their willingness to get their nose dirty, and obviously their skill set. You know, so I think he's going to be really prepared going into college.
So when you do, as far as recruiting, do you look for guys who fit the culture more, or do you look for the raw talent that you feel like you can kind of mold into the culture?
So it's kind of a mix. So we try to find guys that we feel like fit our culture, right? So that's why, like, we actually get out and go watch them and evaluate. We're not evaluating guys on miss and made baskets. Obviously, we want guys that can make shots, but we look at everything. How you respond in the huddle, how you respond when things don't go your way, because our deal is tough. Our deal is not for everybody. So we want to get guys that we feel like are mentally prepared for what we do. We want to get guys that may not be mentally prepared now, but want to be that. You know, so everybody we get may not come in automatically fit as far as our culture goes, but they want to, so we're willing to help them and teach them, because that's our job. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you got to be able to play to come play for us, but there's definitely a culture piece that fits into that. It's huge.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what it was like bringing Dior in the middle of the season?
So, you know, I was very careful as far as like who we brought in, because we were playing well, right? So if we were going to bring a guy in, he was going to have to obviously move the needle as far as talent goes, but he was going to have to be able to buy into what we do. So bringing Dior in the middle of the season, it actually worked perfectly. You know what I'm saying? We went right into John Wall. because actually our guys were on winter break. So I kind of prepped Dior. We worked out, kind of introduced him to kind of how we do stuff, and he was completely bought into it. So when our guys came back from winter break, we got a good, I think, 3 days of practice. Then we went into John Wall. We won that whole deal, and that's kind of how he made his splash. But he had an immediate impact with us, not just as a player, but his character, his energy, his level of buy-in. He's great in the locker room. Like, he was another one that was really good for our culture.
How did Amari Abrams, how did he adjust to Dior?
Yeah.
Because they kind of play the same position.
Yeah, so Amari, I mean, our guys just want to win. So, like, Amari's 6'3", 6'4", and can make shots, and he's really a dog. So, like, for him, Dior coming in, he didn't really look at it as, you know, like a threat, or like, they were okay with being unselfish and sharing. One guy's bringing the ball up, that other guy's sprinting corner. Or maybe you might be our trail guy. You know what I'm saying? They were okay with that, both guys. Because both guys can play off the ball. They have the size and the ability to score. You know what I'm saying? So both of them bought into that really well, and we became better. And our style of play, we like to have 2 or 3 point guards on the floor. But obviously those guys have to be mature enough to see the bigger picture and buy into that. Like, if you look at our roster year 1, we had multiple ball handlers on our team. You know what I'm saying? Year 2 was obviously the same. So actually going into year 3, we're doing the same thing. We're going to try to recruit multiple point guards, guys that can pass, dribble, shoot.
Before we wrap it up, my next question is, what is a win for your program going to look like next year? Like, is it going to be making a certain tournament, or is it going to be?
I think next year, us having a home run year is obviously having another successful season when it comes to winnings and losses, but having another year of opportunity to prepare guys for college and send all our guys to college. I think that would be another home run year for us, you know? So maybe if we get, like this year was like 15 Division I guys, maybe next year it's 20 Division I guys, you know? That would be a home run year for us. The winning comes with doing stuff the right way. So if we do stuff the right way, focus on development, our culture, all the other stuff will fall in line. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'll be really something that would touch our staff and make us feel like we did a good job. Cool.